My name is Amy Fennell. I'm the supervisor of training at Natural Encounters.
Hello, I'm John Rossi. I'm a touring drummer with a passion for animal conservation. When I'm on the road, I spend as much time as possible visiting zoos, aquariums, and conservation organizations. Now, I want to share those places with you. I'll be talking to keepers, vets, conservationists, anyone who can help me in my mission of connecting my people to animals through their people. Join me on my Rossifari. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome to the last episode of the Rossifari podcast of 2024. Now, I mentioned this on Zoo News recently, but I know that people don't always listen to everything over the holidays, so you're in for a real treat today. But if you listened to the holiday special, you kind of know what's coming, because today's episode is the full interview that I did with Amy Fennell about the birds in the 12 days of Christmas. And if you're wondering why I'm posting that a week after I posted the holiday special, well, it's because Amy and I went on an absolute tear while doing this episode. So, the interview lasted over 40 minutes and, the holiday special was an hour long, and so that wasn't going to fly. So I cut it down to be really tight and focus entirely just on the 12 days and what bird each one would be. But as you can imagine, Amy, being the huge nerd that she is, had so much more information, and so many of the days were actually a discussion about all different kinds of birds that could fit or whatever. And just for the sake of the special, I had to cut all of that out. I also had to cut out a lot of the joking around that we did and kind of dumb, silly stuff that we said that makes this podcast what it is. Just because, again, time. So, I thought that this was really worth listening to. And normally for my last episode of the year, I pull some stuff from the different patron audio that I release throughout the year. But in this case, I thought, well, this is something I was originally going to do this just for my patrons anyway. But so now you all can hear the full interview with Amy and have that be a reminder that you can get this kind of content if you ever decide to sign up to be a patron of the Rossifari podcast, which you can do for as little as $3 a month. And when you get to the higher levels, Binturong and Red Panda levels, you also will start getting monthly stickers that are focused on something from Rossifari in the month that you are listening and getting the stickers and all that cool stuff. So that's a new thing we're going to be doing, working with our friends at the Cappy Trails. And so, I'm really excited about that. So this is a plea to remember that you can become a patron of the Rossifari podcast, and that you can help support the work that we do here. But whether you do or not, you get to hear this incredible full interview with Amy Fennell. And I do mean full interview, because one of the things that Amy agreed to that makes me super duper happy is that this entire interview is unedited. This is warts and all. You get to hear the stuff we weren't sure about, and us going back and forth, and dumb jokes, and us getting off topic, and all of the things. I think it's a blast, but I think you will too. So with all of that said, let's get to it. Here is my full interview with Amy Fennell of NEI. All right, so let's start off with you reminding everyone who you are.
Well, first of all, I'm not dead, but my name is Amy Fennell. I'm the supervisor of training at Natural Encounters. I am a bird nerd. I love birds. Here
yes.
I am.
Yes, you do. And we've been on the Zoom for 3 minutes, and you've already shown me a bird, which makes me happy. And I don't mean flipping me off, although you do that a lot too. So
that is a thing that happens.
So y'all listening, I truly have no idea what we're doing here. Amy knows I do my holiday specials, and she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I want to be on your holiday special." And I was like, "Cool, what are we doing?" And she was like, "Shut up and book me." And I went, "Okay." So that's what we did, and now I am here. So you have the floor. I want to talk about the 12 days of Christmas.
That makes sense. Some of those days have to do with birds, so I get this.
A lot of them have to do with birds. And I mean, like, an uncomfortable amount of them have to do with birds, to the point where if you didn't like birds and that was what you were getting as a gift, it's almost warfare at that point. Like, you are being showered with birds. We're going to talk about this, but there's at least, I think if you do the math, at least like 23 birds just as the song is sung. And I was like, did you ask for those birds? Do you want 23 birds? Probably not.
I know that I don't. So
well,
that is amusing. Speaking of showered with birds, I do have to ask, you raise a lot of birds from like tiny chickness. Have you ever showered with birds?
Not officially.
Okay.
Just know that before I became, who I am now, I did have companion parrots, and I definitely showered with those companion parrots.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
There's a shower perch. It just sticks there. On the side of the shower.
I do not want a pet parrot. I know it would not be right for me or my family, but there are times that I want to pet sit a parrot for a week, because I just, they're not right for me, and that's cool. But also, like, that sounds like fun for a week.
Yeah. For a week. I agree.
Yeah. All right. So let's dig in. I don't know how you want to approach this, but tell me about the 12 days of Christmas. I guess it's kind of like half an advent calendar of birds, basically.
Well, yeah, except the advent calendar, which I was talking to John before we started this, is leading up to Christmas. And as somebody who's not super religious or, knowledgeable about these things, I was like, the 12 days of Christmas are the 12 days leading up to Christmas. Turns out not the case. The 12 days of Christmas start at Christmas, as far as I can tell, and go past Christmas.
That's so weird and arbitrary. Like,
I know. Well, I think there's a reason for it, but I am not the person to talk about that reason.
Fair.
Yeah. So the first thing, and to understand, like, yes, I bothered John about this because I wanted to talk about the 12 days of Christmas. And of course, we start with a partridge in a pear tree, right? Yes. Well, so what is a partridge? And there are two main types of partridge. And if you actually look this up, there are people who are fighting about, when they say the 12 days of Christmas and a partridge in a pear tree, what species of partridge was it? So is it a chukar, or as most birders say, a chucker? Is it a red-legged partridge? Is it a gray partridge? Like, what is it? And so the 12 days of Christmas, I guess, came from a French poem. So they're assuming that it was the French bird, which would be, I believe, a red-legged partridge, because the gray partridges are British.
Okay.
So first of all, and here's the thing that I find hilarious is both of these are ground birds. Why would they be in a pear tree?
Oh no, I did not know that.
Why would they even be there? And would they be gifting the pear tree as well?
Oh, I would assume so.
How do you gift a tree? That's a big ass tree. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to?
Yes, you are.
Say?
That is fine.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Okay, so we're starting off, and we already have questions. Is the problem, right?
Yes.
So partridges are really cool birds. In North America, you will see chukars or chuckers as a introduced species, Hungarian partridges, and they're phenomenal little birds. They're related to quails and pheasants and galliforms in general, but cool little birds. But only one of them. What are you going to do with one partridge? What are you going to do with that? So you got a partridge and you got a pear tree, I guess. So what's the second thing you get?
I don't know.
You know, come on. On the first day of Christmas,
calling birds.
2 turtle doves.
Turtle doves. See, I told you I don't know. I didn't know we were doing this. I don't know what's going on. You know what I know? 5 golden rings. Woo!
We're going to get there.
Okay.
We're going to get there because those are also birds.
Okay, now you're losing it. But go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, back to the turtle
we're gonna
doves.
Get there.
Now, I do love turtle doves, mainly because they have turtle in the name. But go ahead. Yeah. It's their shells that I really think are adorable.
Okay. Do you know what a turtle dove looks like?
Yes, that was just a dumb joke.
Okay, good. No, I get it. But so doves are great. Doves are awesome. Here's the potential challenge we're getting into, and maybe not even a challenge, depends on what you're into. Every single bird we're going through in the next little bit is edible.
Fair.
So turtle doves, which are the British, one of the British things that almost equals a mourning dove. Like they're a little dove. They've got really nice little markings on their neck. They make they don't make as nice a morning call as our mourning dove. Sorry for the British listeners. They have kind of a little thing that they do, but they are birds that are shot and eaten, at least historically. So when we're looking at gifting birds out of the 12 days of Christmas, most of these birds, almost all of these birds, are being given as part of a feast. Like we're giving people game birds to eat. Oh. So a partridge is a game bird. I would like to be given a partridge because I can cook it and eat it. 2 turtle doves is a light meal, but it is a meal. Because we wouldn't necessarily try to keep 2 turtle doves as a caged bird, right?
Okay. Could they live in a pear tree? Because apparently the partridge can't.
I think the partridge was there by accident.
Fair.
So I don't know. But so we've now got a partridge, and we're gonna go with a red-legged partridge, but it could be any species really. Turtle dove is the species, so great job. So we've got potentially a red-legged partridge and 2 turtle doves. What's the third one?
I'm just gonna
come on. Go for it.
3 on the 3rd day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens.
Yes. Woo! Good man. Okay, so again, edible.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's fair. I've had hen. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're chickens. So we've all had chicken, unless you're vegetarian from birth.
I figure that they're French hens, so they come with au jus. Is that how that works?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. We can do all sorts of, we can do coq au vin, but it wouldn't be 3 French hens. It would be 2 French hens and a rooster, I guess. So 3 French hens, again, we're going on the culinary theme. Like what we're giving people in the 12 days of Christmas is food items. But chickens, great birds, love chickens, smarter than people think, love to train them. They're great birds. Also delicious, depending on your culinary choices. But, so we've got 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree, right?
Yeah.
So 4th day.
4th is calling birds. I said it before, but it's 4th is calling birds, right?
So is it calling birds?
Oh, God, the look on your face. I'm so scared right now.
So the original is collie birds, Colly. Okay. And it became calling birds. And collie birds is another name for blackbirds in British speak British.
Is English the word that you were looking for?
No. Well, yes. But collybirds is an old term for, shut up. Collybirds is an old term for blackbirds. So 4 collybirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Anyway, so can you think of another situation where blackbirds are edible? Because it's another nursery rhyme.
Isn't there like a blackbird pie thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm vaguely,
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's like blackbirds have been eaten historically, but calling birds is actually collybirds, and collybirds are blackbirds. So delicious, apparently.
Wow, that's really cool. I can't believe that that's just like a major lyric change. Out of curiosity, would a collie bird be considered a calling bird?
Probably. And I think when it got to calling bird, they were just looking at any songbird.
That's what I was thinking,
something that was making. But so do you know, here's my bird nerdness.
This is the start of the bird nerdness? Come on.
No, but thank you. So blackbirds, do you know the genus of blackbirds in general?
No.
It's, you'll like this, Turdus, and a blackbird, I believe, and I'm happy to be wrong because I can't look this up, but I believe blackbirds are Turdus. And do you know what Turdus migratorius is?
No.
It's the robin.
Oh, okay. I hear that they are rocking.
Yeah. Rockin' robin.
Yeah.
Tweedly deet.
I play that song professionally all around the country. Isn't that weird? Oh, it's one of the songs we do in one of my shows.
Why haven't I gotten to do that with you? And so now I'm looking it up. So common blackbird is Turdus. Sorry, I'm so wrong. It's Turdus marula.
Okay.
But they're the same genus. So nice. It's a thrush. Okay. Anyway, so now we have edible blackbirds, edible chickens, edible doves, and edible partridges.
Yes. And then we get to the jewelry that you're going to try and convince me is a bird.
Well, so here's the thing. 5 golden rings. So there's a lot of discussion about what that means. Is it actually rings? Because, listen, here's the thing. This song has talked about birds for 4 separate verses. And now we're like 5 golden rings and we change everything. So, and I have to look this up. I had this all ready. They're goldfinches.
They're goldfinches?
Mm-hmm.
Just making stuff up now.
I'm not. Well, I am, but also, I'm not. Let me look it up because this is good. It was about a mistranslation. Could be, so there's 2 groups. One is saying that the 5 golden rings could be a reference to the rings on a ringneck pheasant, but anybody who knows ringneck pheasants know that those rings are not gold; they are white.
Obviously.
So that's but yes, so a theory is that gold rings may be a corruption of the Scottish world gold sphinx, which actually means goldfinches.
And you have established that we've already had like word changes happen here. So
exactly. Well, and so the thing is that this is from the 1800s, like, or before that. This is old, right? So there's stuff gets lost in translation.
Yeah, I believe 1780 is when this film we're looking at first came from. Yeah, so that would make sense. And again, like you said, it was French. So, you know.
Well, who knows what those French are doing? Sorry for all of our French listeners.
I think they're mostly just saying, See, now I'm sorry for our French listeners.
Okay.
We don't have that many listeners in France. It's fine.
Great. All right. So we've established now potentially the first 5 are birds, right?
I'll give it
to you. If the 5 golden rings are goldfinches, which are, I would argue, more calling birds than the 4th day, because nobody's going to eat a goldfinch. They're going to listen to them sing.
Okay,
right?
So now we're off the buffet, though, right? Like now we're actually expecting these to be kept birds, maybe?
So go to 6.
Okay, 6, 5 golden rings. No, that's not, no. 6, is that our angry hunker friends? Is that our geese?
6 geese a-laying.
A-laying, yes. Okay, yeah.
So now there's a gap, right? So we're not eating the geese. What are we eating?
We're eating the eggs and keeping
exactly.
Although you can't eat geese.
We certainly can. They are very expensive these days, but we can eat the geese, but we will keep them for their eggs.
Okay, yeah,
primarily.
Okay.
And again, we're in the 17 to maybe 1800s here, so we want fowl that we are going to keep on our homestead to eat.
Yes, or this is our grocery store at this point. Very
so we have 1 partridge, which is a very small amount of food. We have 2 turtle doves, which I think 2 turtle doves collectively are less than 1 partridge. We have 3 French hens, which is that's banger, great, wonderful. We have what's 4? 4 is
the calling birds or calling.
4 is the 4. So again, the blackbirds, tiny, little tiny blackbirds. The 5 goldfinches are not going to be much, so we're not going to eat them. That's fine. We've got 6 geese a-laying, so they're going to produce eggs for our homestead, which is awesome. Then we get into some trouble.
Okay. So I remember that 7, I know I'm going to start to lose some of these, but 7 is swans a swimming, right?
Yeah. Have you met a swan?
I have, yes. Not good.
Yeah. No. Not great.
No.
So
7
swans,
seems like a lot.
First of all, again, and I think I saw this on a Tumblr post, but it's without permission, giving somebody 7 swans is like an act of war. This isn't a gift. This is aggression. If somebody dropped 7 swans on me with no warning, we would have to have a really serious conversation about that, because depending on the species of swan, and there are, I think there's at least 9 species of swans, and the people who are real swan nerds will be like, Amy, what the hell? But, swans, trumpeters and mutes, and there are big swans are impressive animals. Yes. I am pretty sure that trumpeter swans are one of the heaviest flying birds in North America. So let me look. I'm just checking my facts now.
Yep. Well, and that's why we edit. You'll sound even smarter because I'll cut all of that
stuff. Trumpeter swan, I was right.
Nice.
Woo! Swans, amazing birds, really, really thick, heavy-bodied waterfowl. Lots of history behind them. But trumpeter swans are the heaviest flying bird in North America, which is a lot. So, again, I would want some consent before swans were presented to me.
That's fair.
Especially 7 of them. That's a lot of swan.
That is. Also, it says they're swimming. But not everybody has a pool. So are these bathtub swans, or is there assumption that you just have a lake at your house, or like what's going on here? I don't know.
I guess at this point we're just running under the assumption that you are a British lord that has a pond that is big enough for 7 swans, which potentially would fight with each other. So this isn't a pond, this is a lake at this point. Like,
it is a lake battleground.
Yeah, you've got space. Like, the 12 Days of Christmas is about rich British people, I think. But it also involves like an uncomfortable number of birds without diving into this more. So, and the 7 swans a swimming, I have to say, are the last thing that I can actually justify as a bird.
Okay, good. Because I was going to be pretty annoyed if you tried to convince me that a maid of milking was a bird.
No, but I think we could talk about what birds would fit.
Okay.
For the last one.
Let's do this. All right. So we got 8 maids of milking. What bird is a maid of milking?
Okay. Well, so back it up slightly and just understand that, like, we've gotten to day 7 of 12. And we're talking about birds, like every single thing here. So the person who was writing this originally is just like, yeah, man, bird. Probably 90% of this was eat bird. Like, you know, this is a food thing. Maybe the swans are ornamental.
Maybe
probably
they were just bird nerds like you, though, because like I sit and I talk to you, and I talk to Danny, and I talk to, you know, the NEI team that was at Roger Williams this last year and stuff, and all anybody says is bird. I mean, sometimes I mention like a red panda, and y'all look at me like I'm crazy.
I like red pandas a lot. One of them licked my finger once, and that was like a formative moment for me. But they don't have beaks or feathers, so, you know, when a red panda can fly, come and talk to me. In the meantime, we've got a 200 to 300-year-old song that is talking specifically about birds up until day 7. And I want to ask what happened. What happened at day 7?
My assumption is that dude realized he was about to get his butt kicked for giving his partner something like 20-some, 30-some birds. And, I assume you just have to bail at that point.
I guess because the person is just like, why did you dump all of these birds on me? Because after that point, it's just humans all the way through. Right? So they were like,
also a weird gift to give. You know, I mean, I know it was a different time, but like maybe we shouldn't be gifting humans or birds. Just say.
Well, I mean, I would take the birds, I guess, before I took the humans. But like, how do you gift somebody? Oh shoot, what is it? 7, 8. Is it? So that's the maids of milking, right?
Yeah, 8 maids of milking. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not well, and I guess, that could get nasty, but like potentially the maids who are milking are working for the family. So like they're out there milking a cow because that's necessary. I don't care. What I care about is birds. So we have a few options. And the biggest thing that I thought of is what birds produce milk? There's only one family of birds that produce milk.
I don't know this. Is it a milky eagle?
No, thank God. Because none of them have nipples. So
I'm confused here.
Yeah. So columbiforms, pigeons, produce crop milk. So they're the only birds that will feed their kids from something that they produce in their crop. So pigeons and doves, all of those guys, they eat food, they produce what's called crop milk, and then the babies will feed from mom and dad. So if you want to go with this 7 maids of milking, I'm going to say pigeons is that day.
8 maids of milking, but I know what you mean.
8 maids of milking.
8 pigeons. Okay.
You got eight pigeons of whatever variety you choose, but they are producing milk to feed their children, which I think is great.
And better than buying 8 humans. So I'm on board for this.
Yes. We're escaping slavery and going to crop milk production with pigeons.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
good.
I like
Yep.
it. Good.
Okay. So what's the next one?
Next one is, oh boy.
Is it Lords of Leaping?
Hold on, I'm going to cheat. It's
Okay.
Ladies Dancing.
Okay.
Ladies Dancing. I feel like lots of birds dance. I feel like this one isn't even hard.
So who would you choose? Because I have a few that I would choose, but when you think of dancing birds, what would you choose?
I mean, I think of, again, I'm not a real huge bird guy, but I know a lot of mating rituals involve like presentation. So I'm thinking like almost like peacocks and stuff because they do the whole like shimmy thing. That's where my brain goes.
Yeah. And I like that. I think that when I think of dancing, I would think of a couples dance. And I know that's not what the song says, but like, yes, there's a ton of males that will, do a thing for the females. They will dance. We've seen David Attenborough show all of the birds of paradise and all of the crazy, some amazing birds that do some amazing things to display for females. But when I think of like dancing, I think of like a couples dance. So you can look at hooded grebes. You can look at red-crowned cranes, birds that do a ritualized pair dance with each other. That is what both and swans. To go back a bit, swans, there's a lot of birds out there, species that do some incredible bonding rituals that involve very specific movements. Albatross do the same thing, like where they have quote unquote dancing. And from a human perspective, we look at it and we think it's beautiful when we see it. And it is just these two animals doing the thing that reinforces their pair bond. And in some cases, those bonds may be lifelong. Like it's beautiful. So, 9 Ladies Dancing or whatever number we're on at this point.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Great.
So, I'm going to go with some amazing pair bonding dancing between grebes or swans or albatross or any of the other species that do some beautiful things.
See, I love that. And in my mind, I have to go with swans because in my mind, this dude is just like, I got you 7 swans. Then I got you 8 of this other bird with the crop milk. And now I'm going to give you an additional 9 swans because I want to see if you are willing to stay with me through the hellscape that I have created by bringing 16 swans into your living quarters.
Well, and here's the thing. I love that because this guy brought 7 swans. So what's that extra swan doing? That's multiple pairs that's 3 pairs of swans. And then like Joe, who's off in the corner, just sad because he doesn't have a pair. So if you add the extra 9, now there's 16. So we've got 8, pairs of swans, and that's great.
That's perfect. And that's clearly what the song is about at this point.
Yes.
Dude
at this
realized that he had not done proper husbandry research, did not realize they needed a pair. And so 2 days later was like, babe, I got you. I brought 9 more swans. That way Joe doesn't have to be sad anymore.
Okay. So I hope you're doing a running total, right? Because now we have 16 swans plus every other bird up till this point. So, yes. Okay. All right. So then is it Lords of Leaping?
Yes,
where are we
10
at?
Lords of Leaping.
Okay. 10 Lords of Leaping. I think of birds like Seriama or secretary birds, birds that are jumping up in the air and curb stomping whatever they need to for food. And there's a lot of like even Kagu will do that. So like there's a lot of birds out there who are just going to like smack, smack.
Yes.
Even cranes, crowned cranes, lots of different species of cranes are great at the kicking and the smacking with the feet. Even if you go back to the 3 French hens, those French hens, their rooster, he will be leaping and kicking.
Okay. So you have to pick one. I've decided arbitrarily.
Okay.
So what are our lords of leaping? What bird is the lord of leaping? The lord of the dance when it comes to leaping for birds is
Secretary bird.
Love it. Amazing. They're so cool.
They are very cool. They're very cool, and they can kick all the things.
Fair. And now we're at 11 Pipers Piping, which I assume you're going to have thoughts on because of song and all of that thing, but go ahead.
Well, so there's a bunch of different angles you could take from this. So if you go for pipers and like the Pied Piper who makes a noise and a lot of different things follow after him, that's one thing. If you want to just go with the basic pipers, sandpipers, all of the little what we call peeps on the shore birds, there's lots of angles that you could go to with what is a piper. I don't know if I would choose. Ooh, gosh, that's a hard one. That's where my research kind of stopped because I was like, well, there's so many options here.
Well, it's a silly holiday special, so you can just make it up. It's fine.
That's fair. I think I would just go with like a killdeer, like
Okay.
like any of the basic sandpipers, but like a lot of people don't know that killdeer are sandpipers. So I think they're, at least in North America, they're pretty ubiquitous and they're all over the place. And they are very dramatic little birds.
Okay.
with their don't come near my eggs. I'm gonna pretend I have a broken wing, and their incredible calls. I remember I was in a college dorm, and the college dorm was right across from a very large graveyard. And there were killdeer that would fly and make noise at 2 a.m. And I was like, but they're not even nocturnal. And if you actually kind of look at them, like their eyes are pretty big and they can see at night and they will fly and call in the night. And I just think they're wonderful little birds.
Nice. All right. There we go. So killdeer.
Killdeer.
I like it. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. I like it. And then we get to the most important day, of course, the 12 drummers drumming, which I have always assumed is just 12 carbon copies of me looking adorable and being sent to random people. But you're going to tell me it's some stupid bird, probably a woodpecker or something.
Incorrect.
Okay.
First of all, it can be you if you want, and that would be fine. So everything about the 12 days of Christmas is birds except for the 12th day, which is John. 12 Johns.
Oh, God.
Drumming in your
12
house.
Of me, and I want to.
Yeah.
No, let's go bird. I think
Okay.
the loudest bird would still be less annoying than that.
So there is a species of bird, a very cool species of bird that will take a piece of stick and intentionally break off a limb and use it as a drumstick. It's one of the only birds that has been looked at that will. We're wondering if it has any sort of musicality in terms of beat and rhythm. And that is the black palm cockatoo.
Really?
And they will,
Wow.
yes. So what they do is they will take any number of sticks. So they'll chew off a few different sticks, and they'll go back to their nest cavity. And their nest cavities are these hollow logs, and they will take it, they'll break it off, and they will put it in their foot, and they will drum on their nest cavity. And the females will consider whether that's good enough for them or not.
That
and we
is how
don't
I
know.
Get mates too, by drumming. Yes.
You did very well. Zoe's amazing. But it is really interesting because it seems like they will choose the stick and the female will judge based on what the noise is. But there's a lot of video footage of these guys breaking off a stick and drumming specifically, not just drumming with their foot or drumming with hitting it with their beak, but taking a stick and drumming intentionally on a hollow log, which I think is really freaking cool.
That is amazing. That is honestly so cool to me. Clearly that's like the coolest thing that I've heard today. That's amazing.
Yeah, except that now this person has 12 black palm cockatoos.
Which
so I don't
loud
know.
Birds, I'm assuming. I know cockatoos. I don't know. Those are loud even without the drumming. You might actually be better off with 12 of me, which is saying something. But woof, that's a lot.
So this person now has 12 black palm cockatoos, 11 killdeer,
Yep.
10
secretary.
What did
birds.
I say? 10 secretary birds, 9
swans.
did I say for swans? So more swans. So
right.
They have 16 swans.
Right, 16 swans. Yep.
They have 16 swans, 8 pigeons, and then
7
more
was
swans.
More swans. Yep. So 6 geese.
And then 6 geese. We didn't determine the species, but I'm gonna say like gray legs or something domestic. So, and then 5 goldfinches, 4 blackbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge.
And also a random pear tree that a partridge.
And a pear tree.
Yes.
Exactly.
78 birds and a tree.
Okay. So I think if somebody over 12 days were to gift me 78 birds, even me as a bird nerd, that's an act of war.
I think the swans alone are an act of war.
Yes, 16 swans is not something you give somebody that you love. That's not something that is kind. That's aggressive unless it's something that person actually asked for.
Amazing. Well, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're very welcome. I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me researching it.
It was. Tell everyone happy holidays.
I shall indeed, and happy holidays to you and yours.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, it is always such a joy and pleasure to have Amy Fennell on the podcast. I'm so glad that me killing her off didn't actually, kill her off. So glad to have Amy on. Hope y'all really enjoyed that and got a lot of laughs out of it. And also, I hope it gives you a little clue onto what the whole editing of this podcast thing does, because it really can change and shape an interview, which I kind of find fun and interesting. So that's really it for this year, other than to say a quick thank you to all of my patrons, especially my Red Panda level patrons, Dr. Laura Schenk, Dr. Stephen Williamson, Barbara Bennett, Jenny Owens, and Kevin Williams. And of course, once again, to remind y'all that you can hop on patreon.com/Rossifari and sign up for as little as $3 a month to get cool bonus stuff like this interview. So with all of that said, I hope y'all have a great 2025, and I will see you in there. We'll be doing all kinds of cool stuff. I've got some really fun episodes recorded. We've got some episodes from facilities that haven't been on the podcast yet. We've got some returning favorites. We've got all that good stuff. But first, I'll see you here on Friday for Zoo News, which is going to be one current story, and then the rest of it is going to be a best of the best of the rest. I still really haven't decided what order I'm going in yet. No, I'm kidding. It's best of the rest. I just misspoke. But that's going to be a best of the rest episode talking about some of the stories that we didn't quite get to in Zoo News that I thought were pretty fascinating. So I hope y'all enjoy those, and we'll see you there. But don't forget, The word credits backwards is Steiderk. The Rossifari podcast is produced, hosted, and engineered by John Rossi. Editing and fact-checking by John and Dr. Zoe Rossi. Our theme song is Sevens by Nathan Burke, performed by Nathan and John. Interrupting John theme and additional voices by Taylor Isaac Gray. You can reach John directly on Instagram and Facebook at Rossifari or by email at rossifaripod@gmail.com. Rossifari is part of the Daydreamer Media Network. Now, stop listening to me and go visit a zoo.